Welcome everybody out to podcast number 356. We're going to cover the last section of the takt production system. This will be part 20, and we just absolutely have loved spending time with you. Get ready for next week because we are going to have a ton of good content. We are back, and it's going to be better than ever. We have so much to talk about, interviews, and so much more. So stay with us, and I hope you have fun today.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Okay, everybody, we're going to get right into it, and we're reading this. Oh, by the way, on Monday, you'll be able to actually order the book from Amazon or Kindle, and please do so. We love that. There's so many good checklists in there. You're going to want that content 100%. Or come to our takt certification course. We're holding that on, well, actually, I won't tell you the dates because this podcast will be evergreen, but we have them pretty much every month. Just reach out to us and sign up for that because you really want to be able to take care of the takt production system on your project. So let's go ahead and get going with this. Takt reflections. Below are some reflections on the use of takt in our careers. We hope you'll find these sections helpful as lessons learned through the process of making takt successful. They do not naturally flow in the context of the book, so we have included them here as a workable backlog. We will continue to add reflections here and circle them into the main body of the text as they fit, but for now, we will not push them. The culture that supports takt. Culture is the common beliefs and behaviors of a group. These micro-actions and beliefs drive the outcomes that determine the success of the team. There is a best-in-class culture that will support takt. What culture thrives with takt? People thrive in a takt system when they believe design is difficult and the team should make provisions to work past it. The team should schedule together and attempt to understand the whole plan. The team should take ownership in the whole schedule. Bringing up concerns and solutions is crucial. Trades should go to other trade partners to coordinate and solve problems and only bring up problems to the GC when necessary. The team should help keep other companies accountable. Trades will solve their own problems when possible. Learning lean practices is valuable. Keeping the project 100% clean all the time for crews and areas is the foundation for all success. Treating other team members like customers and appreciating them is the only way to interact as partners in following the project rules and requirements. People do not thrive in a takt system when they bring their old, guarded, and siloed behaviors with them. A person in a takt system needs to stop thinking the following. Blaming everything on design and never learning from job to job is normal. They should schedule only their work and think nothing of what benefits the project. They don't need to understand the schedule, buy in, or use it. Complaining about everything is acceptable. Always going to the GC to coordinate work and expecting them to solve their problems is acceptable. It is only the GC's job to hold everyone accountable. Lean is a fad, and they only need to learn lean out of necessity. Cleanliness is not a priority. They can work like they are an independent company without respect for customer service. Rules can be broken, and loopholes will be tolerated. Ultimately, systems implemented on-site must come with a culture, and no system will succeed unless it is accepted by the culture. That is why cultural creation is such an important consideration when implementing takt or any other system. This shows why CPM is so hard to put in its place. The siloed, fearful, non-collaborative culture that we have been taught in schools and society strongly supports CPM because CPM is secretive, non-collaborative, and deceptive. It is the dark environment in which a bad culture can thrive. Takt only thrives in the light, in good cultures, where transparency and teamwork are important to the collective group. Cultural creation is our first priority. Keep in mind that trades will fight you at first. It is certain that some trades will fight against takt if it is the first time they have experienced it for three main reasons. First, no one likes change. People who are used to a system do not easily give it up. People like and crave certainty, stability, and the significance of knowing the norm. Second, unaccountable people do not like the sunlight that shines in an accountable system. They prefer the hidden dark secrets of CPM that keep them safe from being accountable to anyone else. And third, some want the system to fail because they need that as a reason to backcharge, deliver late, or cover their own mistakes. Tact does not allow them that because the system works. You must be strong through this pushback, and if you are, the decent trade partners, and that is the majority, will applaud the use of the system. And although tact does not cost more, learning trade partners will charge you. Another reflection on the use of tact is that trades will try to charge extra for it simply because it is new and because it shows reality. Again, in CPM, these details are hidden in the 50-plus page schedule, and therefore costs are hidden in the chaos of trade financial tracking. Things like a non-continuous stagger for work packages, being in multiple tax zones, and the rules of tact are things for which trades will attempt to charge you. The trick here is to help them understand the system and to support it in a way that makes the system work and also work for them. For this to work, you have to bring other problems to the surface like perimeter rooms and comeback areas. Rarely is the exterior framing, waterproofing, and drying complete in enough time to complete perimeter rooms as you go through the building at the same time other interior work is taking place. If you cannot avoid the situation, you must show it. Trades need to know about all comeback rooms or areas, whether they are caused by exterior staging or completion, hoists, loading zones, or access ways. It is not fair and it is not right to sign up a trade to a plan that does not clearly indicate comeback rooms when we know they are likely. These should be shown on the tact zone maps and be included in the basis of schedule. Remember, we want to bring all problems to the surface. Problems are not a problem. Thinking that there are no problems is a problem. We all know that every project has problems. Teams who identify them and remove them are the most successful, and we have to create and reinforce this culture. Tact does a good job of bringing problems to the surface because it visually compels stability. Problems cause enduring roadblocks or delays. Work does not progress as planned, and the entire system is immediately disrupted. In a tact system, problems arise to the surface easily because people, crews, trades, and companies must meet commitments, and when people are asked to hold commitments, they find the problems for you. Once people feel obligated to follow a flow, they will begin to find reasons why they can't. They help you identify roadblocks. This is good as long as the contractor can then meet the commitment when the project team removes the roadblock. This action is similar to the old Nintendo game, Duck Hunt. As the ducks, or roadblocks, rise up, we shoot them and remove them. This is the game we play. Many new practitioners in a tax system will declare that the system does not work because it is riddled with problems. It is only riddled with problems because it shows the problems that were always there. The only difference is now we can do something about them. Additionally, there is an approach that brings problems to the surface in our environments. We call it clean and steady. Clean and steady is the call to action for the entire project site, especially when using tact. If workers and crews can work in a clean and steady environment, they can work in a flow. For project teams to realize the full potential of a system, there needs to be a common vocabulary, a common vision, well-communicated goals, and a rally cry to galvanize the actions of the team. Clean and steady, or limpio y constante. Why is this important? We're glad you asked. The goal of a tact system is not efficiency or production in silos. The goal is the throughput of the system, the efficiency of the entire system, and the success of the entire project site. We are not clean just to be clean. We clean to find problems and see what we need to see. It brings problems to the surface. To accomplish this goal and focus, we need to plan it first, build it right, and finish as you go. Instead of working in a mad rush in a CPM world that drives us as early as possible so we can fix everything we didn't have time to build right the first time, the better solution is to plan the work first, build it right within our durations, and finish the work as we go, and not waiting until later. Tact enables this because it creates a predictable rhythm that simulates the planning, building, and finishing. When a schedule is chaotic, no one knows when to plan it or has time to build it, much less build it right. Conversely, Takt enables the team to make a plan and stick to the plan. It allows you to find and see roadblocks as the first priority, and to finish as you go as the second. All planning and design is predictable and in a flow. If we are able to plan properly, then we can build the project correctly with the right quality expectations. If people are able to work in a flow, they know when the next activity will begin and will have assurance they have time to finish their work. Chaos puts people into a continual cycle of feeling they are behind and forces quick and shoddy work. Tact is the ultimate finishing tool because all supportive elements are in place to enable success, even iterative design. There is nothing that will delight our professional design partners more than allowing the iterations of creative design and refinement of the design to get an end product for the owner that is functional, beautiful, and creative. Creative processes need time, and pushing all activities to their early start hinders this process. Tact, with its consistency and leveling, enables as much time for design as needed to delight owners and designers and support the supply chains. The main reason Tact is a necessary precursor to Last Planner and Scrum is that there must be stability and consistency ahead of the systems that manage the preparation within the supply chains. The Takt plan is created and shows the optimal flow and takt time within the project duration. Supply chains are planned with appropriate buffers ahead of the Takt wagons. They provide deliverable dates for design, permitting, coordination, and buyout. Takt puts those efforts in rhythm. Some will respond that CPM is designed for that, but the reality is that while CPM tries, Takt gets it done. CPM would do it well and maybe even more easily than Takt if CPM could produce an accurate and predictable plan in the first place, but it can't. Even if it could, it would move with so much variation that supply chains could not be effectively managed. We all know that an increase of variation means a longer duration. Anyone who consistently deals with procurement in the current system habitually asks, why does the schedule always change? And spends more time managing changes than helping trades meet the date. Remember, CPM is created in a vacuum by one person and put into a format where it cannot be understood. Takt is designed and managed by builders within the system. Takt not only puts the planning back into the hands of the last planners or the professionals, who are the last in line in the planning cycle, it also returns control of the planning and input to the first planners, the project leaders and superintendent. The project leaders and superintendent own, lead, and are responsible for the project. Therefore, they need to plan the project in the first phases. And now to the most important point as we conclude this section. Builders are builders when they study the drawings, interact effectively in the schedule, and take reflection walks daily. To this, we would add being with people, mentoring, and making improvements. Without tact, how would anyone have time for this? The answer is they wouldn't. Instead, they are mired in the drudgery of managing a chaotic schedule, reacting, adapting, and playing savior with people on site. When in a tax system, the builders can be builders and focus on the product, not the chaos. This is because it is the simplest way. A notable project, $80 million in total contract value, had been fighting CPM for over a year and was paying a CPM expert over $180 an hour as a consultant to come in and track status and help plan the project. He spent an average of 20 hours per week and could never get the project on track before we took it over. But once a takt plan and our systems were in place, they became self-sufficient and able to manage the plan on site with the foreman. They required is a 2 to 4 hour assessment once a month from a corporate scheduling professional as a project controls check. This is only 4% of the original effort of just one resource, not to mention the hours spent in the old subcontractor meetings to convey the plan each week and time wasted in the OAC meetings trying to figure out what and why things were not working. The real effect is almost too great to calculate, but the point is that the tax system is simpler and more manageable. If CPM must be used, it needs to have an accountability partner. As stated before, if CPM must be used, Takt must be its accountability partner. This works best when the plan is developed in Takt, vetted and reviewed in Takt, and then the CPM network is created in late design development. The Takt structure educates the work breakdown structure in the schedule, and the overall durations are checked along with milestones. Additionally, graphical schedules, which are typically created in a software that converts the CPM schedule to a summarized overview, can be made to match the takt milestones and other general phase durations vertically. Only in this way can we ensure the CPM schedule does not mislead us about the overall duration and milestones. The key here is to know the concepts that support takt. Rules, routines, and disciplines support any system we implement. Rules give us boundaries in which to work. Routines are the habit loops we have formed that are a part of our culture, the beliefs and microactions of the group. Disciplines or tactics are the ways in which we work within our boundaries according to our culture. The tactics that follow improve the efficiency of the system and will support takt in a remarkable way. A brief description seems appropriate. Kitting. The process of pre-coordinating, detailing, pre-cutting, and packaging all assemblies in the building, such as interior rooms, exterior panel sections, and other installations that need to be optimized to fit into the takt time. This creates a stable environment where flow can be created. Trade partner buy-in. At every step in the process, trade partner buy-in is crucial where possible, especially in the development of the plan. Proficient layout. Proficient layout seems like common sense, but it needs to be reinforced here because improper layout becomes the root cause for much of the variation we see on project sites. Remarkably, accurate layout and control supports takt because it prevents rework and interruptions. Building information modeling. BIM supports takt because it enables the prefabrication of material spools, and assemblies. Prefabrication. The genius of prefabrication is that it moves workers, materials, material inventory, and waste into more stable environments. Prefabrication also moves coordination and problem resolution early and ahead of work in the field. This is the magic of the system. If we can't draw it, we can't build it, and to prefabricate, we must draw it early, and therefore, building it is much like piecing together Legos or IKEA parts on site. If prefabrication is like preparing Legos, then takt is the enabling rhythm with which those Legos are pieced together. Buyout and contracts. In the United States and many other areas of the world, takt is new and therefore it must be clearly outlined in contracts. The takt plan, the use of the takt plan, and the integrated production control system should all be included in the contract. Early orientation meetings. When workers and foremen arrive on site, they need an effective orientation to ensure success. 90 minutes of onboarding will go a long way towards enabling people to interact with the system. This can be done with books, online courses, a PowerPoint, or whatever way that allows the on-site team to interact and successfully anticipate expectations. Zero tolerance. There is no better phrase than zero tolerance to communicate intolerance for deviations from the system. Zero tolerance, when used inappropriately as a punishment system, has convoluted the meaning. What we mean by zero tolerance is intolerance for behaviors or conditions that deviate from the team's plan, which includes disrespect for people and resources. If the team is to succeed, a project team cannot tolerate bad behaviors and conditions. Stability is contingent on rules, routines, and disciplines. Zero tolerance is simply a discipline wherein leaders tolerate respectful environments only, and when they do not, circumstances are changed to ultimately respect the individual. It is not punishment. Clean environments. Everything thrives in a clean environment, especially takt. There can be little or no flow when we do not have a clean environment. Just like any other successful environment, cleanliness must come first. Stabilized delivery systems. Delivery systems must be stabilized and controlled to ensure material inventory buffers are right-sized and materials are brought out just in time. Contractor grading. When the performance of the general contractor and trade partners are graded in a non-subjective fashion, the system will be self-sustaining and will constantly improve. Why additional workers may hurt you. We have discussed in previous sections that an increase of workers on a crew will hurt the productivity of the project. We want to take a moment to explain why. Higher worker counts on a crew increases context switching, the complexity of communication, and possibly the need for an implementation of overtime. Context switching. Context switching happens when workers are asked to switch tasks and focus. A consistent crew in a project will be familiar with the logistics, the rules, the culture, and work to be installed. They can focus on installing in a quality way. When worker counts increase, so does the need for new workers to learn the system in addition to attempting to install the work properly. Time is lost in switching their mental context from one job to another, and therefore it reduces productivity and safety on the project. Complexity of communication. How many communication channels are there for a team size of 3? Well, we can find that out by drawing lines between 3 dots. We have 1, 2, 3 communication channels with 3 people. How many do we have with 4? Let's draw it out in our minds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There are 6. And how many for 5? We will save you some time counting. It is 10. So if you stacked those numbers together, you would see 3 to 3, 4 to 6, 5 to 10. Do you see the pattern? The number of team members increases in a linear way as the team grows, but the complexity that team has to communicate with each other is exponential. This also happens to large crews. It is harder for them to communicate together clearly, so communication and production begins to break down. The effects of overtime. The effects of overtime is the last point we will make in this section. As crew sizes become more complex with more context switching, they lose production. Then overtime becomes a consideration, and studies have shown that overtime can work for a maximum of 9 weeks before it dramatically reduces the productivity of the team. Workers become burnt out and stretched too thin. Add that to a team with context switching and complex communication networks, and you'll have the start of the picture showing why additional manpower may hurt you. If you would like the resource information for these concepts, please email Jason S. at elevateconstructionist.com or research Brooks's Law. Company scaling. As you scale takt throughout your company, we offer the following preliminary advice. Begin with training your people as fast as you can. You cannot go fast enough in the creation of takt plans with your project teams. Experience will be the greatest asset in learning the system. Your scheduling department must be on board and supportive if you have one. We recommend facilitated department integration for 6 months to start. They might be your biggest adversaries if not brought along, but this is due to them finding their meaning in tools that are subpar. When done right, they will be your biggest ally when we bring them along with us. Your supers must be oriented to the system to make an impact. Their behaviors, as listed in the previous sections of this book, are crucial to the implementation of takt. We recommend Super Bootcamp for this. Even if you think your owners will only accept a CPM schedule, implement takt. It will hold your CPM schedule accountable if done properly and will provide a visual schedule you can use to run the field. When owners see this system, they will begin to ask to just see the takt going forward. Do not be afraid to begin in Excel. Locking yourself into a software too soon can be dangerous. Begin in Excel. If you have to use a software, use Takting or Timoti. If you keep going with takt in your company, you will quickly become proficient with it if your culture supports it. If you care about customers at the expense of employees, or you have a habit of stretching trade partners beyond capacity to make money or please a customer, then takt will fade away in your organization because your culture does not align with the concept of respect for people. If you want help making this transition at your company, this is what we do at Lean Takt LLC. Reach out to us if you need help doing this. We will also add more reflections here as we move forward with takt consulting. Please reach out to Jason S. at elevateconstructionist.com for additions to this list if needed. Using takt for civil work. A common question we receive is whether takt can be used for civil work. The answer is heck yes. In fact, it may be even more spectacular with civil work. Because takt is based in production laws and civil work is horizontal production. Whether it is the installation of a linear pipe or large-scale grading and site improvement work, takt helps reduce batch sizes and decrease the 8 wastes, unevenness, and the overburden you are experiencing on your projects. We have tried this across the country and found this to be a huge win for this line of work. Horizontal and vertical flows. We look at takt zones mostly in horizontal flows, but there are vertical flows as well. Examples of these might be elevators, stairs, exteriors, etc. Additionally, you will find spaces like theaters, gymnasiums, and amphitheaters where you may want to create a vertical flow of takt zones on a cut section instead of a plan view. Some buildings might lend themselves to have restrooms run production vertically. Just keep in mind that takt zones follow the trade flow, so if the trades are flowing vertically, then show your takt zones in a vertical format. Takt overview and summary. Takt planning is the ideal first planner system. It is a planning method that brings flow to the project. Additionally, it prepares work for last planner and Scrum by sequencing work, by queuing work up for those systems with workflow, trade flow, and logistical flow. It is effective in doing this because the plan is crafted early on when information, material, and manpower procurement can align with the flow and sequence. A takt plan is a visual location-based schedule showing time and space, showing work, trade, and logistical flow, scheduled on a rhythm, with the appropriate buffers, that stabilizes the pace of work with one process flow and limiting work in process, with a reasonable overall project duration. It is a system that creates stability in the field, which enables additional team and builder capacity, consistent crew sizes, consistent material inventory levels, the ability to find and remove roadblocks ahead of the work, the ability to finish as we go, a solid quality program. It is the only scheduling system that shows all three types of flow: workflow, trade flow, logistical flow. Flow is identified by evaluating the schedule's rhythm, continuity, and consistency. And the structure not only enables, but almost forces the user to obey four key production laws: Little's Law, the Law of Bottlenecks, the Law of the Effective Variation, and Kingman's Formula, which results in healthier project durations, a complex project communicated in a simple-to-read visual schedule, a respectful and stable environment, the ability to gain time in the overall project duration. This is the way. Takt Starting Guide. We have been asked to create a takt startup guide for projects beginning their takt journey. Below is the takt creation list with process steps included to help you as a startup guide. This will not be read in detail in this outline. We have already gone through the creation of a takt plan and how to create integrated control, but know that this is at the end of the section. We hope you have found that section helpful when you're able to reference it in the book. You can use this as a guide and a tracker to ensure all your projects follow best practices in the development of your takt plan. Takt Integrity Checklist. We've also been asked to provide a quick integrity checklist to remind project teams of the requirements they must meet to have completed a takt plan that is whole. This list is also included in the Takt Excel template. Does my takt plan meet the following requirements? Visual schedule showing time and space, showing work, trade, and logistical flow, scheduled on a rhythm with the appropriate buffers that stabilizes the pace of work with one process flow and limiting work in process with a reasonable overall project duration. Does my takt plan comply with my takt schedule health metrics? The value parametric, the efficiency parametric, the stability parametric. It has trade buy-in. It includes buffers according to the risk analysis. It has the proper percentages of flow, over 80% for trade flow, over 60% for workflow. It has all ancillary infrastructure and support activities included in it. It shows interdependence ties between phases. It shows critical milestones and where they land in the schedule. It blocks out Thanksgiving and Christmas as a buffer week. It shows comeback areas. It shows the impact of weather on the takt plan. It was reviewed in a fresh eyes meeting with a group of peers that will make, when combined, over 100 years of experience in the review of your plan before submitting a GMP. Does my takt plan have a solid rhythm, continuity, consistency, and overall duration? Does my takt plan obey Little's Law, the Law of Bottlenecks, the Law of the Effective Variation, Kingman's Formula, Brooks's Law? Does my takt plan enable you to show it on one page, see all three types of flow, bring materials just in time, prefabricate on a rhythm, have trades control geographical areas? We hope this checklist has been helpful in deciding if your takt plan is whole and serving you well. Takt resources and help. Please take advantage of the following resources as you continue your takt journey. The bottleneck rules. the go-to guide to Eli Goldrat's Theory of Constraints, and his business novel The Goal by Clark Ching is crucial to the understanding of bottlenecks, how to see them, and how to remove them. The Goal by Eli Goldrat is a fantastic book and a key resource for learning about flow, throughput, and bottlenecks. This is Lean, Resolving the Efficiency Paradox by Nicholas Modig and Par Ahlstrom is a simple and fundamental book to better understand flow, resource efficiency, and flow efficiency. Nicholas also provides operational excellence training. The Lean Builder, A Builder's Guide to Applying Lean, Tools in the Field by Joe Donnarumma and Kian Zandi, is a great book summarizing how to implement the Last Planner system. Scrum, The Art of Doing Twice the Work in Half the Time by Jeff and J.J. Sutherland is a great book summarizing how to implement Scrum. Elevating Construction Superintendents by Jason Schroeder is fundamental to understanding how a superintendent can approach their role in construction to support systems like those mentioned in this book. The Takt Production System Certification through Lean Takt LLC is a 2-day course dedicated to training practitioners on the use of Takt on their projects. You can sign up at www.leantakt.com. The Takt Bootcamp facilitated by Lean Takt LLC offers a remarkable in-person opportunity to learn about flow and construction scheduling systems. Contact Jason S. at elevateconstructionist.com for a consultation. Also, Lean Takt offers on-project consulting services for Takt and all other scheduling systems. Contact Jason S. at elevateconstructionist.com for a consultation. Takting by Marco Vinegar and Yonash Dooley is an amazing application with many resources offered for free. Check them out at https://www.takting.com. Timoti is a wonderful application by Fabien Font. They have great support for a reasonable price. Check them out at https://timoti.io. Conclusion. In the first version of this book, we had a typical conclusion with a typical boring ending. Well, not this version. We're going to leave you with a glimpse of success, a vision of where we are headed, if you will. Imagine the sheer wall concrete crew on your next project. They meet in the morning with the entire project with good morale and connection. The foreman for the crew attends the 10-minute morning worker huddle with his or her crew and huddles closer to the work. The workers are greeted warmly and treated with respect. They ask the workers what feedback they have, what needs are present, and how their night or weekend went. After that, each worker is given a laminated day plan showing where they will be throughout the day to accomplish the tasks ahead. It is a small crew and their huddle circle is close together. On the day plan card, every position is shown in a column and includes the tasks to be performed by hour within the day. The foreman reviews the tasks for the day and the critical handoffs that have to take place, then asks what the crew needs to accomplish them on site. After reviewing the plan, coordinating, and committing, the foreman hands another laminated sheet to the workers. This time, it is a feature of work FOW board showing the quality and safety pre-task plan items, reminders, and pictures for the tasks. This card has safety steps, lessons learned, installation steps, and double-check steps complete with pictures and abbreviated text. Everyone now has started work to follow throughout the day. What's more, there are blocks of time on the day plan for quality checks and buffer times to regroup and clean up. The day is not maxed out with work. They actually have a system and a rhythm to the work. When the workers all understand, agree to, and feel ready for the work, the foreman then gives a 3-minute training followed by the invitation to 3S their area before going to work. The workers leave ready to do their work and win. The difference with this crew is they are not rushed. They do steady, methodical work faster than other crews. They are smaller, close, and on the same page. By certain times in the day, you will see them regrouping to prepare for future work after cleaning their area. They go home happy every day, feeling respected because they have decent bathrooms, a decent lunchroom, the best equipment, and flow to everything they do. They are respected and fulfilled. Does this sound like a pipe dream? Well, we hope it sounds like a dream to you as well as a realistic goal. This is where we are headed with Takt Production. Every worker in the field working in a flow with standard work with all the resources they need in a respectful environment. The United States is now firmly in an economy of scarcity when it comes to our construction workforce. So here is a warning from a loving place. Learn Takt Planning, Last Planner, and Scrum, or you may not weather the upcoming storm. The future belongs to those who can do more with less, and that will only be done with real lean and real scheduling systems. Additionally, it belongs to companies that treat their people well. We have heard over and over that the new generation does not want to work anymore. That is just not true. They just don't want to work for disrespectful employers. Remember, it is not the strongest species that survives. It is the species most adaptable to change. We predict takt planning will sweep the construction community and bless the lives of companies that are willing to change. It is time to get on board with the takt train. On we go. This is just the beginning. Unlike some other systems, takt is meant to be lean, expounded upon, and continually improved. It is our hope this second edition proves we are growing and expanding. Takt is a step in the right direction for the construction industry. We call upon organizations and groups like the AGC, AIA, LCI, and others to adopt flow systems like takt planning. It is the answer to the problems we have had over the past decades. We implore other leaders in the industry to reevaluate the broken processes that have been standard since the 1960s and start improving in a better direction. In the words of a former American football coach, Lou Holtz, when you stop growing, you start dying. Takt has shaped our careers, and we hope you will let it shape yours so you can live in the upcoming economy. We hope this has been fun and exciting for you as you went through the text. If it seems to have portrayed CPM in a negative light, please know that was intentional, but meant with good intentions. Offending people is not the purpose. That is why we differentiate between true CPM and builder CPM. We think both need to go, but we understand how great builders have been making CPM work to build their projects. We want to make it absolutely clear that there needs to be a massive shift in a better direction, which is our fundamental goal. The cover of this book includes the color purple. Purple suggests to the human psyche the impressions of creativity, mystery, intrigue, and curiosity. We hope you have felt this as you have read this work. Ultimately, it has been a success if you are left wanting more, hoping for better, and willing to take your next step. Please rate this book highly and provide feedback directly at our website, www.leantakt.com. www.elevateconstructionist.com, or email Jason S. at elevateconstructionist.com. Takt is the future of success. The time is now. Let's go. The end. Until the next edition.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and leaving a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time on the Elevate Construction Podcast.